everybody, welcome back to the 9th episode of the Fatherhood Experience. My name is Dr. D, the Fatherhood Practitioner, CEO and founder of Dad's Doing It. Today we are back at Famous Barbershop having a conversation about men's health. Kick around to the fathers I have with me right now.
What's up, everybody? Mike Larry, owner of Famous Barbershop, barber.
Junior Bennett, barber, Famous Barbershop.
Ismael Santiago, retail management.
Derek Johnson, real estate professional.
Thank you guys for being here today and joining us on this, I think, a very important conversation talking about men's health. And I have to be honest, I was one of those people who didn't really take health seriously until had a couple of events happen that made me take health a little bit more serious. And as I think about health, I'm thinking about it from the perspective of longevity and wanting to be around for my kids. And so it's making me take health a little bit more serious and conscious about what I eat, and even in what I choose to put into my body. So that's just me. I'm not sure what it means to you all when we talk about health from a perspective of physical health. Right?
I see it as the same. See it as, what you consume. Just more about, like, I'm a plant guy, and not saying that I eat plants, but I like to study plants. And we had talked about Dr. Sadie earlier, and one thing that he did say to me that made everything click was he put us in the example of plants. So if a plant's pH is off, you have to correct it. You got to flush it and correct the pH. And it's the same with our bodies. And it's just that as people, we don't really care to look at the nutritional facts. Even if we do look at the nutritional facts, who can read everything?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That ingredient list on the back of these items is like a laundry list.
Yeah. And it's a long scientific laundry list, you know what I mean? So it's like, if I'm eating cornflakes, why is there a bunch of things on there that I can't even pronounce? You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I'm with you. I believe it all starts with what you consume, what you put into your body.
Yeah. I kind of been on this health journey for only a matter of a couple of weeks. And for me, it started here at the barbershop. I was getting my hair cut, with Junior. I call him the OG of the group, right? Junior, we were talking about health and realizing that, I was going down a bad path with just bad eating and not taking care of my body from a perspective of what I was putting in my body. But also realizing that I'm a type 2 diabetic. And for a long time, I tried to hide that because I thought it was a sign of weakness, right? And as we know, type 2 diabetes comes on from just, people say, poor lifestyle change and poor lifestyle, not watching what you eat. And it was actually a conversation I had with Julia that made me take it a little bit more serious. And I'm glad I did, So now I'm in this world of exploring what plant-based diet would do for the body. And it's only been a couple weeks, and I feel 10 times better, right? But again, the conversation started here with Junior about, healthy eating and taking care of diabetes. Because I was one of the people who thought that it would just go away. Diabetes will go away. No, it's not gonna go away. It's not gonna go away, So it just made me take it a lot more serious, a lot more focus on, again, what goes in my body. Mm-hmm. And more I started talking about it, and more I started doing research, about food choices. A lot of stuff that we find inside the grocery store, what we call it, what I heard, term that kind of sticks with me, is called Franken food. Mm-hmm. It's highly processed food that you're now consuming, putting into your body. And what are the long-term effects of that type of food that's going into your body, Because I know how I feel prior to being on this journey. Like when you eat a certain type of food, how you feel sluggish. That affects my style of fatherhood. Because if I'm sluggish, I don't want to do nothing. I'm sitting on the couch, kids are doing what they want to do, and I feel like it's taken away from my style of fatherhood based on what I eat, what I choose to put in my body. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure what that does for you, if it does anything for you all.
Yeah, I have to say I had a very similar situation where I just started really digging into a lot of the ingredients and a lot of these words that were in back of these packages I couldn't even pronounce.
Yeah.
I'm Googling them or looking them up or just saying, what is this stuff? And then, I watch a lot of videos and I try to educate myself. in some of those. And one of the things I watched was like, I mentioned something along the lines of the longer the list of ingredients, the longer the list of meds you'll be taking. So I try to focus on foods that, one, have more of a natural ingredient, things that I can pronounce, first of all, and then, you know, not a lot of processed or preservatives and everything. So I'm trying to stick with a lot of foods or things with like short lists, and I'm avoiding a lot of those like dyes
And it's, I think it's hard from a perspective of, and again, I can only speak from my perspective, a father of 5, and try to be an active father of 5. It's hard to manage that eating healthy along with every other thing that's on top of that.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, going to these fast food lines was a norm prior because of the lifestyle, you know? So my doctor told me, hey, D, either you change your lifestyle or you change your diet. Preferably I want you to do both, but you gotta change one of those.
Yeah.
So I chose to change my diet. And I know it's done wonders for me, and again, it's only been 2 weeks,
Yeah.
you
You
know?
know what's funny but with that is that I used to always have stomach problems. Every time I ate anything, it didn't matter. My stomach is upset for the rest of the day. If I go to the bathroom, I'm in there for like at least an hour or fucking even longer, excuse me. So it got to the point where I'm seeing all these doctors, I'm seeing all these GI specialists, I'm seeing everybody. They don't know what's going on with my stomach. They can't give me any answers, right? So in the midst of all of this, we scroll on YouTube, we watch these videos, right?
Yeah.
So this is how I kind of live life a little bit too. Certain things stick out more than others.
Yeah.
So I noticed as I'm, days and weeks are going by and I'm looking at different videos, and the common thing that I was seeing, all of these different videos was somebody would say something about eating meat. It's bad for you. You shouldn't eat meat. And that's when I was running into a lot of Dr. Sadie's videos and the stuff with the plants and the pH and everything. So I would just see a lot of videos about the meat. It's no good for you. Red meat's no good for you. It's no good for you. It's gonna
Pork's
mess
no
you
good
up.
for you. Yeah.
But I had been cut pork out, so I think I stopped eating pork like maybe 6 years ago or something. Maybe a little longer, a little short, I don't know, but around there 6 years ago. But so I'm looking at these videos and red meat. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I think God's talking to me through these videos. As crazy as it sounds.
No, I know what you mean.
I think there's a message that's being thrown to me through all these videos. So then I go to my doctor again. They're like, we've ran all these tests. We don't know really what's going on with your stomach. So our next option is to do a colonoscopy. So I said, hold on, doc. I think I'm a little bit too early for that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm dreading that.
Yeah. I'm gonna try one more thing. But look, I'm gonna try one more thing before we have to go digging up in there. So let me try one more thing, all right? And what I decided to do was take all of this advice that I've been getting from these videos, red meat. And the last video I watched, and hopefully it gets to him. If it does, it does. If it don't, the last video I watched was an interview. I think Breakfast Club interview. They had Dame Dash on there. And Dame Dash was talking about the red meat. He asked Charlamagne a question. He asked Charlamagne, would you eat doo-doo? Charlamagne was like, no. He started laughing like, why you asking me if I would eat doo-doo?
Yeah.
He's like, what do you think is on your meat? Yeah. When they transport the meat here and then you got flies, that's doo-doo all over your meat, and then you get to your house and your plate and you eat it. Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna cut red meat out for 30 days. That was just my plan for 1 month, 30 days. On the 31st day, I was gonna go back to eating a hamburger. And this goes back to what you said. 2 weeks into that, my stomach, everything in my stomach, gone. Yeah. All those issues I was having, gone. Like it was so gone, I didn't even go back to the doctor to tell him that everything was gone. Like it was, I've never seen results like that. Never.
So it's funny. It's funny you say that because so you talk about I listened to a person. His name is Dr. Bobby Price, and he was on this journey. Like he was medical doctor, and then got out of medicine and went to this holistic health. And he was talking about, you go to a doctor, the first thing he started asking you is like, tell me how you feeling. Tell me how you doing. Tell me what you're doing. He was like, it starts with you. Like you got to fix this. I'm only here as a resource, but you have to fix these issues. So he was like, why not fix the issues on your own? right? Why not fix it on your own instead of coming to the doctor expecting us to give you some magic pill to fix it? Why not fix it yourself?
Yeah.
So it starts with you, you know? When I heard that, kind of just, like you said, kind of changed my perspective a little bit. Like, I have to fix this. Why am I relying on them to fix it? I have to fix it, you know what I'm saying? And I think kind of goes along with fatherhood, like, we fix things as mom, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it just kind of changed my perspective on that a little bit.
That makes sense. I think you know, it's a consistent, like, you have to constantly like monitor your body, right? Because I've heard so many good things too about, like, you know, eliminating red meat, like, and I have friends as well,
trying
right?
to tell everybody they
Yeah,
like,
so
I can't do it.
well, that's the thing. It's like, you know, there are a lot of things that I know work, but like, you know, whether you believe in,
The ace in the pocket, like you were saying before.
well,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah. So actually, that could be interpreted. But what I was saying is, like, if, whatever your belief is, most people agree that there's only, like, you know, you got one trip on this earth, and I'm gonna try to enjoy this one trip as much as I can, and I enjoy food. So how do I balance my health and my love of food, right? And I know that there are ways that you can do both, but it takes a lot of money to do this stuff yourself, because to your point, right, like what you guys are talking about, it's really easy to just go get stuff that's already prepared, that already tastes good, but it's got a laundry list of ingredients, as opposed to either finding a replacement that has less ingredients. But especially when you bring kids into it, like, you know, like my kids complain, the more healthier the product that they're trying to do. They do enjoy fruit, which is fantastic, right? And, you know, one of the things that is important too is as I am getting older, and, you know, realizing that I can't eat the same way that I did when I was, you know, 30 and 25 and 20, right?
That's
And
reflexivity.
well, yeah, not only that, but it's like, you know, for, like, I'm 236 now, right? I'm 236 pounds. 3 years ago, I was 214 pounds, right? And I do a lot of the same things, and it's a hard realization for me to understand that what I was doing for workout and food consumption hasn't changed, but it needs to. AKA, I eat pretty well. I don't drink like I have a couple of beers a week, and that's sort of like my vice, if you want to call it that. Like, I don't eat a ton of junk food. I try to do the best I can, but I'm also, like, eating a lot of it, and I eat, like, carbs, like, all the time. So because I'm still in the gym for like an hour max, maybe twice a week, like, that's not going to result in, like, you know, optimal health, right? Like, I'm still fine, like, and I'm still happy relatively, like, with my weight and my health and, you know, my abilities, but how does that translate into my kids now, right? Because one of the other reasons why I do a lot of this and try to make the best choices is because they're watching. Like, I grew up, I was overweight. I was really overweight because it wasn't a priority for being healthy. My mother is Italian. My father was a chef from North Carolina, so food was huge in the Johnson house. And myself and my brother, we were fed all the time. And, you know, like, seconds did you eat? Like, all of that mentality, because of our household, you know, it took a lot up until when I graduated high school, when I knew I couldn't play football anymore, where I was like, nah, no more football, no more weight. And that's sort of how I played it. And that was 2000. And I still haven't been heavier since I was in high school, which is something that I always try to keep, because I was like 255 my senior year. But it's the constant monitoring of the choices that you make on a daily basis.
You're talking about, like, growing up in the food. I grew up on honey buns.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that was some good stuff.
Yeah.
Honey buns and say again?
Snickers.
Not Snickers for me. It was honey buns and cheeseburgers from McDonald's.
Yeah.
Little Debbie snacks,
Right?
man.
Little Deborah, Big Deborah.
Yeah.
Wait, but you talk about food, like, growing up in a household. How much of what was passed down from us of how to eat, of, like, always, like, every day, I should say every week, once twice a week growing up with my grandparents, love them to death, right? Like, it was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like, we were eating, right? How much of that stuff was, like, healthy but not healthy?
So can I say something?
Please do.
Along those lines, I had a conversation with somebody earlier, and this is just my belief. I don't know if there's any scientific proof behind it, but I'm pretty sure that I'm spot on with what I'm about to say. So a lot of people say that I had somebody that I was doing something. They were asking me like, you know, do you guys have any underlying health conditions in your family that's been passed down, you know, from generation to generation? And I'm like, man, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But what I can tell you is sicknesses don't get passed on from generation to generation.
But doctors tell you it's a gene. It's a
They're
gene,
gonna tell
right?
you
It's
that
a
shit,
gene.
but listen to what I'm finna tell you.
Yeah.
What gets passed on from generation to generation?
Foods.
Big Mama's recipe.
Yeah.
So each generation is eating what the last generation was eating because that's what they eat. So they never steered away from that. You know what I'm saying? So now, little Tony is having the same thing that Big Tony had, that's having the same thing that Big Papa had, that, you know what I mean? All down the line. Until there's somebody in the family who is the black sheep who doesn't eat like that, and they're like, oh, well, he eats like a rabbit and he exercises, that's why he's better off with health and everything. No, he's not eating off of the same recipes
That makes
he's
sense.
eating.
I can see that. I can see that.
I mean, if you get, we're talking about food and we're saying that all these unhealthy processed foods is no good for your body. What is it going to do for your body in the long term? Give you diabetes, give you high blood pressure, give you heart problems. And that's
And
that
those
comes from everything
issues
that
and
everybody's
those
eating.
issues are very prevalent in our communities.
Yes.
Right?
That's why
Very
I'm a firm
prevalent in our
believer that
communities.
it's the recipe book that's giving you those hereditary issues. You know what I'm saying?
Has the sugar got any sweeter? Like that from 20 years ago, that banana pudding, is it sweeter now? That banana pudding now?
Maybe because you made it.
The portions are bigger.
Yeah.
Maybe because we made it.
Yeah.
Remember we were talking about the Kool-Aid
Yeah.
back in the day, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's a lot of truth. I feel there's a lot of truth to what you're saying too, where it's it's like habits, right? Like habits are passed down
That's what
along
it
with
is.
those recipes, and there's you can make an argument for literally anything when it comes to food, because everybody is different and every body is
Everybody
different.
handles it different. Yeah.
Right, and so, and like, are there congenital, like, hereditary things that are specific to your family or your bloodline? Yeah, but does that translate to somebody else? No, right? So while the habits are passed down, and it's true, right? Like I was saying, like my mom gets insulted when, like, if I don't have seconds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's like, Mom, you saw me as a kid, right? Like you saw, like I weigh less than I did when I was like 8 probably, you know what I mean? So it's like, she has the ability to process food, and her metabolism is still insane, right? Like she can eat all day and not gain a pound. I don't have that, right? And so you add that on top of it, and it's like, no, I appreciate that you cooked for the entire U.S. Army, but I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not hungry anymore.
Yeah.
So it's it 100% is, and it's up to us, to again monitor our own bodies, and so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to change the recipe for my kids, because I do. You open the drawer above the stove on the right. I've got my Rolodex of everything that my mom passed down and that my dad had, and they're amazing, right? But it's like 8 pounds of butter, 16 cups of salt, right? Like, and all the stuff that makes it like fantastic to taste. But yeah, of course I'm gonna get, like I smell some of the stuff and I get diabetes, you know what I mean? So it is, up to us to make sure and change that recipe, because yeah, that's facts.
So as a father, how do you tell a 4-year-old kid that they can't have Frosted Flakes, yet their dad goes to the gym 3 times a week? And then when you go to school nowadays, you see all these other kids eating whatever they want to eat. And yes, it's discipline, but we're sitting here, and yes, we want to watch our weight gain, lose, foods, whatever it is. But when we come as fathers, I've raising our kids, and we pass by a McDonald's, kind of tough as a father to tell your 4 or 5 or 8-year-old kid, now we can't have it.
I don't think it's that tough. Like, so sorry, because I want to respond directly. I think, you know, talking about habits, if the habits never start, then there's nothing to, like, if they're not used to it, then they don't get mad when I tell them no. Same with like soda. Like, we probably bought 3 2-liters of soda. Brooklyn's 10, Avery's 8. I can count on one hand the amount of times like we bought soda, right? So they don't ask for it because it's not something that they're used to.
My girls love Dr. Pepper.
So,
my
right,
daughter too,
you
yeah.
know,
Me
so.
too, I ain't gonna lie, I like soda too. I got one right there.
Well, yeah, and I love soda too. So it's like, when I'm like on the road or whatever, like I buy a ton of, not a ton, but like at least once a day. And my daughter is already like calling me out of like, look, I don't drink Monster, but it's like some of the energy drinks. Like, I don't do coffee, so I need caffeine to survive. So
Those
I
are
get
bad for
those.
your heart, aren't they?
It's awful. They're awful.
Drinking
right?
uptime.
They're awful for you, to the point where Brooklyn is like, Dad, like, relax. Like,
You don't get the jitters with that stuff?
No, like I've been taking pre-workout since I was like, 15 in the gym, and so I need like 600 milligrams of caffeine before I start to get like.
You know it's unhealthy to
Your
take
heart,
more
man. Derek, I'm,
Yes,
I'm
man.
worried about your heart.
So is my doctor, like so is my wife, like so join the crew.
Oh,
So-
man.
But it goes to this, right? This is what we're talking about. Like
Yeah.
it's on the back of my mind, like literally every time I crack a bottle of that energy drink. But to answer your question, that's how I've been able to do it. Like, it was from the beginning.
Yeah.
I tried to curtail it like from the beginning, and so it's like a treat now. Like when they do get it, and they know.
I think there's a lot of parents that don't see it until it happens.
Yeah.
So let's say, my kids, my youngest one's 20. I never shied away from going to the store and getting some Cocoa Crisp or whatever they wanted to eat because I didn't know as much then.
Yeah.
I really don't know as much now. But as parents, we try to keep our kids happy and healthy.
Yeah.
Take them to the doctors, ear infections, headache, whatever it is. Like I said, it's us as parents. Not even parents, we just don't see things until it happens afterwards, and then we try to.
That's me.
So-
That's me. That's me.
So,
He would never go to the doctor. Me and him had a nice conversation. We go there, but with our kids and fatherhood, it's a little different.
Yeah.
Like myself, my wife and I, we're going to the gym now 2 or 3 times a week. Would my kids have picked up on it, or would I would have tried to urge them on it? I don't know. I don't know if I could say, hey, you gotta come to the gym. Oh no, you can't eat that steak. It's bad for you. Or no Frosted Flakes, it's got sugar. That's tough.
I think
That is tough. And us as men,
Yes.
trying to keep ourselves
Yes.
physically
Lead by example.
capable of doing whatever we want to do. Okay, and the guys who are not fathers, who want to potentially keep themselves happy so they can have kids. There's a lot of guys out there says, I can't have kids. Maybe if you ate right, I'm quite sure someone's heard that all the time, but, we had a conversation before. I don't think it's I don't know the difference between now. I don't know the difference between Frosted Flakes 40 years ago and now. I don't. I don't know the difference between a banana 40 years ago and now.
I'd
Just
say
don't.
for me, just to I don't say I'll keep it from my kids. If they ask me for it, I'll get it for them. But I also let them know, this got this in it. Because I tell you, to your point, 40 years, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I wasn't reading ingredients. I was reading nutrition facts, but I definitely wasn't looking at ingredients.
So I was going to say that to you. So you read, and Derek said your laundry list of ingredients.
Yeah.
How do you say that to a 5-year-old kid?
Well, you don't. To a 5-year-old kid. But to Derek's point, if they're at 5 years old, you could have changed those habits early on.
But we didn't see it until
afterward. But I would say my experience is probably different than Derek's experience because I was living a diabetic lifestyle, and a lot of my kids probably had a diabetic lifestyle type of diet where certain things was just kept out of the house. Where we had Frosted Flakes, we had Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but it was portioned. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't take 3 bowls, take 3, 4 bowls. My kids eat now. In my house, I could just buy snacks and leave them there and not have to have the control where it's like you gotta come ask me before you have a snack because you eat too much, didn't you? they'll leave the snacks there and everything. So I give them those options, but now I just try to educate them on what they eat. You know, because myself was diabetic. I had 2 daughters that are type 1 diabetic. So my dieting, as far as versus what probably Derek experienced, was a little different. So therefore, you know, a treat was really, you know, there wasn't eating 6 Oreo cookies or 10 Oreo cookies. It was, oh, you want an Oreo cookie? You get 2. Serving size is 2. That's 21 grams of carbs. That's what you get to eat and everything. But now what I'm doing now, like as of recently too, within the last maybe 6 months, where I've cut out certain things and everything, not so much for my kids, because I'm like, well, I ate it this long, I'm not going to control you to that point, but I'm going to educate you. But now I read a lot more ingredients, where therefore, like I'm even leaving things on the shelf now, like I'm not buying that. Or if I buy it for my kids, I'm just letting you know this is in there, and there's studies that say it may cause this or lead to that and everything. So I just try to educate them and let them make their own decision. Because, you know, my youngest is 15, my oldest is 25, so they're already to the point where they have, you know, some habits of their own. And then in my household, I drink soda, it just wasn't a big thing to drink. Yeah, you know, we drink a lot of water and everything, so.
You know, I'm at the point where, and I've been here for a little bit, but more now with my health, is that even today it just hit me. Like, I go in my son's room, the light is off, he's sitting at his desk in his room doing his homework with the light off. I said, Dante, you can't do that. Turn on the light. You gotta mess up your eyesight when you get older by trying to do what you're doing your homework in the dark. But
book or the computer?
he was reading a book. At least he had the book open. He had the book open, and he said he was doing homework. But he likes to read. He likes to have the light off when he's doing his homework. You know, granted, it's still a little light outside, so the light's coming in a little bit. But I'm like, you can't do that. But I think back, I used to do that.
Is that from what the doctor told you though? So it's like, is he making his eyesight worse, or is he training his eyesight to see better in the dark?
Because I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that.
A lot of the things.
I'm with Larry on that one.
A lot of the things that the doctors tell us is to like either keep us at bay or to not let us. What's the word I'm looking for? Like.
Your body will
Progress.
your body will adjust to the lighting, to Larry's point, where your pupils will dilate naturally if you're in the dark long enough. So therefore, you should be able to read that paper. Now, if you walk in from a light room, you're not going to see anything.
I get that perspective, but like maybe that's something I heard back in the day. I don't. Maybe one day it was passed down. You know what I'm saying? So and somewhere along the way I internalized that, and now that's what I say.
Yeah.
But then I go back and say, okay, I'm notorious. I used to always do that. But now I'm 40-something years old. I need to make sure the light is on when I read Dad's doing it.
Yeah, but is that because you did that, or just because we were just getting a little older?
Or because of the belief that you need a light on to read. A lot of that it goes hand in hand with like your mind. You know what I'm saying? And
my mind can't see anything right now. Oh, okay, that's your thought.
I got a friend. Listen, I got a friend who wears glasses, and I was talking to him one day. He said, "Huh?" I said something again. He said, "What?" He said, "Hold on. Put my glasses on. I can't hear you."
Don't ask why it works. Don't ask why it works, but it works. Don't ask why, but it does. Same thing, right? You driving, you turn the radio down.
You trying to read your lips at the same time. That's what it is.
I don't know what it is. He said, "I got my glasses on. I can't hear you."
It's
all right.
Trying to focus, too much mental energy to focus on who that is.
I just feel like, you know, the more and more I'm trying to really like just watch what I eat and really, you know, and try to maintain, I don't want to say diet, lifestyle. Like, it's making me like pay attention more.
Yeah.
Making me more aware. Making me, you know, I'm just finding like, now I'm at the point right now, like where like I enjoy it now.
You're a conscious eater. That's a term.
Yeah. And I enjoy it. But to go back to the perspective of why I'm doing this, I'm really doing this for my kids.
Yep.
For your kids or for yourself?
I don't know. Well, it's because I realized doing it for myself, I wasn't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Doing it for myself is probably what got me to the point that I'm at. You know what I'm saying? To an extent, a little bit. To an extent, right? But like being that role model, making sure that like that I'm trying to live a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if that makes sense.
I think it sounds like you putting your pride above everything. Because remember what you were saying, like I got that, it'll go away. And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, to me, what it sounds like is like you still got your pride up there, and you're like, nah, I ain't doing it. I'm doing it for my kids. I'm not doing it for myself. But you're doing it for yourself, because if you don't, you're not going to be here for your kids. You know what I'm saying? But I think that you too proud to be like trying to combat this diabetes and get it down. So you tell yourself you're doing it for your kids, and that kind of catapults you to get the.
I tell Shanti and the kids all the time, like if I wasn't married, if I wasn't a father, I'll be happily fine living in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Absolutely. I could live in a
one bedroom apartment.
One room I could live
I'll
in.
be happy with that. You know what I'm saying? And the hoodest of the hoods.
But I'm not eating Little Debbie's every day.
And probably eating Little Debbie's every day.
Can't do that.
I'll be happy with that.
Too old for
You
that.
know what I'm saying? I'll be happy with that. But because of them, it's like I have a different mindset. And I don't know if that's right, wrong, or indifferent. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But like it just it's making me pay attention more.
I will say that it probably goes, you know, and I don't know, people society may not like my comment, but I'll say that this goes hand in hand with just being a man, wanting better for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, when you're alone, it is what it is. You can live with the bare minimum, but because you have a wife and
provider,
children,
yeah.
and you're now providing, that motivates you to want more for them and everything, which in turn is wanting more for yourself, because you're only going to be able to do more for them if you want more.
I don't drink. I don't party. Like in my head, I can't
Play
justify.
boy.
Yeah, I can't
You
say.
don't party?
I don't party. I
can't-
don't party. I don't drink. I don't do any of that stuff, and I can't justify going out doing that stuff, leaving my wife and my kids at home. I can justify this having a conversation here. You know what I'm saying? This is feeding my soul. That is not really feeding my soul.
So yeah, I agree with you because we had a conversation earlier where I was saying that I was going out every weekend, and I stopped that. That doesn't mean I won't have a drink. I'll socially have a drink with like my brother. I was at his house the other day. We had a couple shots and everything. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm not doing those late nights where I was out all night having drinks and everything. And it's to the point where I've had bottles of liquor brand new at my house, and someone's like, "Oh, we get one of those, or we buy it." And I'm like, "No, here, take it," and everything, because it's not the lifestyle I choose to live. And maybe I was just going down a path or whatever, or going through something and everything. But to your point though, D, it's like there's nothing wrong with a little partying, though. There's nothing wrong with a little drink here and there, as long as we're not doing it in excess and everything. Like, there's nothing wrong with having a glass of wine or a beer, you know, as long as you're being a functional member of society or your household.
Yeah, I mean, you can say there's nothing wrong with you know what I'm saying? Which for me, I'm choosing not to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather not engage in that and sit on the couch and watch TV, you know, versus engaging in those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Is there anything wrong with it? No, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think your motivation is your motivation, right?
Yeah.
Like it's whether, you know, because I can make that connection hearing you say, you know, if you put me in a room with a remote, a TV, and you know my phone, like I'm good, right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
And you know, having that like mentality, but then you know realizing it's like, oh, you know, yeah, that there are other people that need me, right? Like, and so like I appreciate that. I think Larry's point of like, yeah, you know, but you gotta understand that, you know, in order to do that, you have to be around. So you gotta do this for yourself too. And whether that's motivation 1B, underlying that you don't even know, right? Like, you know, cool, but you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the cool thing about health, which sort of keeps me on track, is that, you know, all these conversations, like I'm gonna go Google this dude that you were talking about, like
Dr. Sebi?
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
Yeah.
Until-
Dr. Sebi's he's a legend.
Never heard of him.
He's a legend.
It's
Yeah.
going to be hard for you to find stuff because they try to bury it so much.
watered
But
down,
then you're gonna find some stuff on it. But
Yeah, you know, and it's like I've got a bunch of friends who you know cut a lot of things out, and you know whatever your motivation is, that's great.
My motivation was not to see the number 500 on the diabetes meter.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, and like the cool thing about health, with you know what I was saying is like you can start whenever you want. You know what I mean? Like you can consciously make a decision like right now to dedicate yourself or to try something new or to do to do this. I remember like I forgot how old it was. Like in my 20s, where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try no sugar for a week. And I did it, and like I hated everybody for like the first 48 hours. But after that, like, you know, I didn't need have any caffeine. I felt like so clear, like I had fantastic sleep.
Mhm.
So it's like, yeah, like I've known that. People have known that like for years. Cut sugar out. And I was like, it's impossible for me because I love sweets, but let me try it to see how I feel, right? And sure enough,
How long, you said you did it for a couple of weeks, but how long did it last?
So
'Cause I'm sure it lasted longer than what you intended for.
it didn't. No.
2 weeks and you was like, I'm
Yeah,
back.
like I really tried, and I figured if I can try other things, I could probably last longer. Not with baked goods and sweets. Like,
So-
I just can't.
So similar to your situation, and so I can cut out stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
a true believer that once you start cutting this stuff out, you will no longer crave it. So
Yeah,
you didn't
yeah,
give it enough time,
yeah,
because
yeah.
your craving of one, that would have gone away.
Too much.
But I'll say, like, I had a few moments in my life which led me to want to be healthier, and I know one of them was definitely my kids, and then another one was two of my daughters ended up becoming type 2 diabetes, and I knew the way I managed my diabetes was not how I wanted their diabetes managed, so I got better at it. And then I went through another situation when I was 25 years old. So I got diabetes when I was 8 years old. I'm 44 now. Still here. I can still see and everything. But when I was 25
Toes still
years
everything
old,
good?
Everything. I have everything.
Baby!
Everything's good. Yeah, baby. That's all working. We good. We good. But I'll say when I was 25 years old,
You said we're gonna talk about that part.
I went and seen an eye doctor where they look at the back of your eyes. And this
Sure, he was
doctor-
telling me to go do that.
Yeah, yes. So important because this eye doctor was so amazed at what was going on back there. And he even told me, he was like, if you don't change what you're doing, you'll be blind in about 5 years. So I was 25 years old. And you know, at that time I'm thinking about it, I'm leaving the doctors, I'm in the car, and I'm like, I'd rather die than not be able to see and everything. So, but I made that diet change and everything. Here we are, you know, many years later, I can still see 20/20 with glasses. But also another moment where it's like these doctors were sharing me. You know, they passed me from one doctor in Leominster to another doctor in Boston. And sometimes these doctors, they have no...
They don't care.
They have no human empathy.
Yeah.
And I'm in front of this doctor, and he's talking as if I'm not even there to his colleague. And he says to his colleagues, as he's looking in the back of my eye, it's amazing how well he can see with all the laser he's had to have done. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wow, I'm right in front of you.
You're saying, yeah.
He's not talking to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
He's just talking to his colleague and they're drawing and everything. Thankfully, you know, here I am where it's gone to the point. I got a call to set up another appointment, but I've gotten to a point where I have my diabetes really controlled. And I would say the technology where we are today for diabetes has been a huge help for me. And then the other moment that I've experienced in life, that had me want to change how I do my diet. And I'm actually gonna say something in this recording that not a lot of people know about me. But many years ago, UMass Memorial in Worcester reached out to me, asked me if I wanted to be part of a trial for a drug that is really for gout, and they wanted to see what medical benefits it could have for diabetes. So when I went and got to sign up for that experiment, let's call it that, they did a full physical on me, and they found that I had a minor heart attack at that time. And the only reason they knew that is because they did an EKG that day, and then there was an EKG that had happened 5 years prior. And the doctor that was in charge of that study goes to me and goes, "Oh, you've had a heart attack?" And I'm like, "No, I've never had a heart attack." And he's like, "No, you've had a heart attack." And I was like, "No, I haven't. I've never had a heart attack." And he's like, "No, I'm telling you, you've had a heart attack. I'm looking at your EKG, and I'm looking at an EKG from 2008. He goes, "You had a heart attack." Lo and behold, I go see a cardiologist, and what they found was that I had a minor heart attack. I just never felt it. It's the only one I've had. I haven't had another one. You know, I take my meds, I take care of myself. I cut out a lot of stuff. Red meat was one of them. It's very rare if I eat red meat.
So back in the day, a long time ago, I saw a guy that my mom was seeing back in the day, legit on the floor having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Like, I actually saw that. I haven't even seen that in the world that the work that I do at night as a police officer, you know. But I actually seen that. I'm like, man, like just to see somebody have a heart attack, like, and it didn't process then, but like now that you just said that, kind of brought back, you know, those memories of seeing that. Like, if we know the risk of that, people, heart attack, diabetes, high cholesterol, like, we know that, and we still choose to eat.
Yeah.
I know I did.
Yep.
I know I did. Like,
Mhm.
you know,
Still
a
do.
couple years ago,
Yeah.
doctor, you got diabetes. I go in the hospital with COVID-19. I almost hooked up to a ventilator because I had it so bad. The reason why I had it so bad, because I had, you know, diabetes. They say is what they say. You know, but I just know I was almost hooked up to a ventilator, right? Luckily, whatever shot they gave me, Remdesivir, whatever it was called, within, I don't know the long-term effects of that shot, but within 3 to 4 days, I felt better. But we know about all the effects. Why do we still choose to eat that way?
Temptation of the body.
Temptation is what we know.
It's your body that's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Craving it, or the worms or parasites or whatever you want, however you want to break it down to make you believe it. But it's just temptations of the flesh. It's really what
Like
it
you
is.
know, like now the grocery store, not grocery store, but now people, any tobacco products they sell, there's a sign up there saying cigarettes have been known to cause cancer,
Yeah.
and they say
Still
something
smoke.
else. So, say again.
And people still
And
smoke.
they still smoke. You know, I just don't. For me, I just look at it from my perspective. Why did I keep eating the way I did? Because of just lifestyle and just thinking it would go away.
It's the temptation of the flesh, man. It's your flesh, your body that's craving that stuff. Your mind might say something else. You know what I'm saying? Your mind is, I believe, your spirit, right? Your mind is your spirit, and it's your flesh that's craving. Your mind, your spirit is saying, nah, man, we know we can't do that. We know we can't eat this. We know we can't eat this. Your
Yeah.
body's like, man, the hell with all that. Let me get that sandwich right there.
Yeah.
It's really what's happening. So we have to be more self-disciplined
Yeah.
in order to do that. Like Iz was saying, when he quit the red meat. When I quit the red meat, like I said, I just wanted to try it for 30 days. It's been like 4 or 5 years since I had red meat. You know what I mean? And honestly, yeah, I would like to have some steak and eggs. Yeah, I would like to have a burger on the grill. But honestly, I like the way my body feels.
Yeah.
Versus eating that and feeling like trash, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
You eat turkey, Larry?
so, listen, I do, but I learned that, you know how they say, when you eat some turkey Thanksgiving, then you get the itis.
Yeah.
It's not no itis. What it is all the chemicals and all the processed stuff that they're dumping in the turkey when they're growing the turkey, that when you eat it, the way those chemicals react to your body makes you sleepy and want to fall out.
Yeah.
So, and your question, yes, I do eat turkey, but I think I'm gonna start like,
I'm gonna make you the best turkey burger you ever had. You'll never want a red
oh no,
meat
I
burger.
eat turkey burgers and
Yeah,
chicken
I
burgers
make the
and all
best
that.
turkey burger, man.
I'm down. Let me know when.
Dude.
I'll be there.
Like Derek, do you go to the doctor regularly?
Not
Like
as much as I should.
every year during the physical, do you go to the doctor?
No.
I
Yes,
do.
you go to the doctor.
Absolutely.
Junior, you got Larry, do you? I know I don't, right? Why is it so hard to get men to go to the doctor, to go get checked out, to go
So-
see themselves?
So I'll say it might be because maybe that's not the manly thing to do, or maybe that's something we didn't real experiment growing up. But I'll say when I was young, obviously it was like your parent take me, my mother would take me to the doctor. As I got old enough, I went a long time. I did go a long time not going to a doctor, aside from going just enough for them to fill my prescriptions. You know, and then, and then one day I just decided, you know what, I schedule my physical every year. I go see my diabetes doctor every few months. I go see my eye doctor. I'll go a little late. I go see my eye doctor. I try to go see the cardiologist, although I've made so many changes in my diet and everything where it's like, you know, and as long as I'm taking my meds and actually doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm fine.
Bang, that's where you hit it. We thinking as humans that we're fine and we don't need to go.
Yeah.
No, but you never knew you had a heart attack.
No.
That's
But
why
I-
as men,
But
like
I
you
made
said,
changes though,
right,
to correct that.
like as you said, as
Yeah.
men, we think that we can
We
handle
can
ourselves.
find,
We
yeah.
got this.
I mean, I thought I was fine. Like,
Yeah.
I thought diabetes
And
go
we
away on its
don't-
own.
We don't find out
It
until later.
go away. It go away on its own.
And I just said it earlier, we don't find out until later, and then we do find out, that's when we try to control our language, our spirit, our health, whatever it is, but we don't do it until it hits us. And that's growing up, and as kids, I still, to this day, will not tell my kids, do not eat this because you'll get cancer, or because you'll get diabetes.
Dante loves ramen noodles.
Mhm.
We know what ramen causes.
What?
All right. You haven't read it? Like, I'm pretty sure you've been reading up on that.
I've seen a lot of videos
They're
and I
saying
share
it's
them with my
like
All the
kids.
bugs in it and
But
shit like
I'm
that.
kind of, I get where Junior's coming from because I'll share them to my kids, the videos with the ramen noodles or educate them, but I still, if they want to eat it, I'll buy it for them. Because I lived a whole life eating those and I'm okay, you know, to Junior's point. We ate ramen, I grew up on ramen noodles and hot dogs. I got friends that'll tell you I would take 6, 7 hot dogs, throw them in the microwave, and that would be my meal.
That's nasty.
And it's
you
our
say that.
lifestyles too,
But
because
it was and at that time, that was
Listen.
the life.
the last 2 years of my life has probably been the worst 2 years of my 52 years living.
Yeah.
Hands down the worst 2 years.
Stress.
You know, and yes, with the stress. And just lately, I mean, Larry tell you, I try to bring my lunch every day to work.
Yeah.
And as us eating, your profession, you don't have time maybe to make your lunch in the morning or 11 o'clock at night or whatever shift you do. So, like here, if I happen to not bring my lunch one day, guess what? I'm eating right there because I have to eat. Okay, and then I'm not really per se looking at the carbohydrates, calories, and this and that because I needed to, you know, get myself back in track because I had lost so much weight and now I'm eating more. I know it's healthier going to the gym and this and that, but our lifestyles is getting older. We just can't. If we're hungry, if I'm hungry, I'm stuck in a McDonald's. If I'm thirsty, I'll pull up someone's house and drink out of the fucking holes on the side of the house.
See, I'm not stopping at
I'm just-
McDonald's if I'm hungry.
Well, if I'm hungry, I'm hungry. You know what I mean? I gotta eat. I'm a diabetic. I have to eat. And if it raises my blood sugar up, okay, fine. If you have cancer, if you have whatever diseases is, I'm not going to starve. I'm not going to be thirsty. I'm not going to starve. But do I want to try to make sure that I accommodate myself so I can see the accolades that my kids are going to grow up? Yeah, absolutely. You know, I want to take care of myself. I'm trying my hardest. For 50 years, I probably didn't. You know what like is going out on the weekends, drinking, partying, doing drugs, whatever I did. You know what I mean? Well, am I paying for it now? Yeah, well, I wear glasses. I need hip surgery. I broke some ribs. I'm not living a healthy life. You know, is it because I didn't watch what I ate? I don't know if I'm a believer of that.
Sounds like you
I'm
could, you know what I'm saying?
not a believer of that.
So,
I'm just not a believer. I'm not
So I
a
didn't do
believer
those drugs.
because of what I ate made me want to drink a beer, or because
But
I
is
didn't
that
make me want to run a...
Is that a belief though, or is like the? I understand, you know, people are gonna like one. You need to indulge yourself every now and then too, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't you can't cut if you have the willpower, right? But for me and a lot of people like me, I can't cut it out completely, right?
But that's where you messed up. I told myself the same thing. I can't. I love pork chops.
Nah,
What?
you cut it out.
Give me a Noble Sassoon pork chop. I eat the
I'm
whole
2
pack.
months. I quit eating pork. 2 months.
Look,
So
now I'm
far,
like 5, 6
I'm
years
fine.
into all of that.
I'm
But
fine.
at first, it was difficult, right? So the first week and a half, every meal I ate, my stomach felt empty. I could have ate a plate like this.
Yeah.
No red meat, no nothing, no. You know what I'm saying? Just rice, maybe some beans or whatever, maybe some chicken, who knows? Just, I eat the whole thing and my stomach just feels like, I need some meat. I need like something, you know what I mean? After a couple weeks, like Ed says, your body don't want it no more.
Yeah.
You don't really, you don't crave it, you don't have the desire for it. And if you do eat it, it tears you up more than it
Yeah.
will do you good.
So Larry, just to go off what you just said, so I've been really increasing the amount of fruit that I eat, and where I've replaced certain meals. Not really replaced the meal because I actually like the fruit that I'm eating, but it's not, to your point, it wasn't filling me. Well, now I'm fine.
Mhm.
Now I'm fine. It's like if I eat the food, I'm good.
Mhm.
And I'm making it a point to avoid not eating those other foods because then that's when the cravings start coming back. And I couldn't tell you the last time I had an Oreo cookie. I used to love eating Oreo cookies.
With the milk.
With the milk, well, not really milk, because I'm not a milk. I'll eat an Oreo cookie just cause.
With some soda.
And if they came out with mint, if they came out with mint Oreos, I was excited to see that limited edition Oreo cookie flavor, just so I could bring them. Hey, look, guys, lemon. Hey, look, guys, gingerbread. Hey, look, guys,
Halloween.
hazelnut. Yo. But now I don't eat it. I don't miss it. I love ice cream. Am I not gonna eat ice cream this summer? I don't know. But I haven't had ice cream in months, and usually, like, I'll go buy a Ben and Jerry's strawberry ice cream, and I would have been tearing that up a couple spoonfuls at least after every meal. And I haven't had an ice cream in months, and everything, just because I made a decision in my lifestyle that, man, I want to eat cleaner and everything. Dr. Sebi was a huge influence on that. Some other folks that I follow. I wish I knew this guy's name. This guy who I follow on Instagram. He's always talking about your diet and how eating meat, in particular, that's what causes body odor. That's what causes your breath to smell, because of the decaying flesh that you're consuming in your body and everything.
That's all.
So you start getting educated about all this stuff, and you know, to me, it like clicks. It makes sense.
Yeah, you start to piece things together.
Yeah, you start piecing things together, and then where now is every now and then I have some red meat, and I'll tell my kids like, yeah, it was all right. It hit me like bricks. It doesn't sit right in my stomach, so I don't crave to eat it again because I'm like, that doesn't even feel right.
I'll eat for like a week.
Yeah, no, that's how it feels like.
Because it stays in your system
Yeah,
for like a week.
but then once I stop and I go back to the fruit, you know, my rice, my beans, you know, some chicken or whatever, I'm good. And I'm even thinking about even quitting meat. I might even cut out meat, try that out, see how that goes.
He's doing wonders for me.
And then I have my uncle Nat. Him and I share a lot of things, videos back and forth, and everything. So he was telling me that for he went a year without eating any meat, and that he might try to do like a fruit cleanse once a month, where he only does that for
Detox.
a week. Yeah. I may even try that just to see how it makes me feel, because eating the amount of fruit that I've increased makes me feel great.
Yeah.
Like I feel good. I feel good in the morning. Like I drink an energy drink because I choose to, not because I need it.
Yeah.
I don't need it. I like the flavor of the one that I buy and everything, because I can get up perfectly fine in the morning and everything.
I knew you would go there. All right, as we come to a close.
That's not what I was talking about.
Baby!
As we come to a close, name one thing you were doing for your health. Name one thing you're actually doing right now for your health to make sure you're going to be around for X amount of years to come.
Don't know.
One lifestyle change
Log
as
my
related
food.
to health.
I log my food.
You log it,
Mhm.
so you know you write down what you eat.
Yep. I don't write it down. I got an app. Noom. N-O-O-M.
4 honey buns, 8 cookies.
So
Ishmael.
Ismael.
Ismael.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking about that the other
I don't know, it's
day.
hard. It doesn't roll off my tongue the right way.
So
Your name ain't Ans.
so recently, really, what I've done is just really cutting out a lot of the processed foods. I've even just educated myself on these ingredients and everything. So it's hard for me to narrow it down to one, because I've done so much within within the last few months, and everything that those are just things that I've done where I do feel better. I feel better, and I've said this to my kids when they're like, "Well, why are you doing this?" And I said, "Well, it's too late for me, but I'm hoping that if I could really impact your decisions, that's the win for me."
Yeah.
And everything. Well, is it too late for me? Who knows? I'm 44.
No,
I feel good. You know, I look okay. I'm assuming.
You look good,
So,
man.
thanks, man. I appreciate
You look
that.
good. A little skinny for me, but you look good.
Yeah, well, you know, different strokes for different folks. Yeah.
Junior, what's one thing you're doing for your health?
I started going to the gym, and I hated going to the gym. I was telling Larry earlier, I hated it. When I was in high school playing, varsity basketball, whatever, we'd go into the weight room. I wouldn't go. I told Coach Maz, I'm not
That
going
frame you wouldn't go to the weight room?
No, I wouldn't go.
I thought you were pumping on
I would
weights.
not. I hated it. I would never. And so I made a decision. After the last couple of years I had, I was like, I gotta frame myself back up and just get into something. And now I feel uncomfortable not going. So it's a decision, but it's a good decision I made. And I said, you know, as far as me eating the stuff that I eat, I love fucking food. You know, I'm not a big vegetable eater, but I love, like it says, when I get home, my wife's already got it marinated, the steak. I'm going home, I'm eating a fucking steak. I'm just, like it says, you guys call me different or whatever, I'm just not a firm believer of whatever you eat is going to be a detriment to your health.
Blessed
I'm
Lord.
not a believer in it. I'm just not. You will not convince me.
But in situations like diabetics, right? Obviously, what you eat is how you is what's going to control your condition.
Mhm.
So situations like that, you have to believe that.
It's not a
Believe what?
belief though, that's science.
Yeah,
True.
exactly. I haven't said a science book that says if you eat an apple a day, your eyesight will be good, or you drink milk and your bones be healthy. I've never seen a book that said that. Some man said it. Okay, back in the day, did they drink milk? Maybe from a cow. They didn't pasteurize or nothing like that. I mean, but I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't know. But for me right now, I see all these. We won't believe the news, but we'll believe a video about chickens and ramen noodles. I don't understand it. We won't read about something else.
Judge it by the way you feel when you eat it. Right?
I'll call you in a half hour. Let you know exactly how the fuck I feel. When I'm done that steak and potatoes and corn, I got a Coors Light in my hand, watching the Celtics, and my wife recorded it. Yo, gee, I feel fucking good. Damn, I'm full. Sitting here, watch you see that movie.
I won't eat this damn lettuce.
Oh my God, listen, everyone's different. Every person in this world is different, and I'm different. I don't know. That's my problem. I don't know. I don't know the preservatives. I don't know the ingredients. I don't. And even if I did, would it keep me from not eating it?
I think
don't
so.
No.
If you knew exactly what you were having,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Let me give you a perfect example. I worked for Juice for about a year, you know, because we went in there. Juice got me to watch this film or video about how they raise chickens and cows, and that's why Juice became, you know, vegan, him and his family, whatever. I watched
Juice,
it,
good dude. Juice, good dude.
Yeah, very one of the best dudes.
Yeah, good family.
I watched the videos, and I can honestly say here, I think I went to McDonald's afterwards. I'm not making this up. I'm just not. A video is not my learning tool for saying that what I watched is going to help me live 10 more years. No.
I don't think it's.
No,
I don't think
it's not
it's.
doing
I don't think
it.
it's.
What they're
really,
doing is trying to make you do things in the world to the world's effect. The world wants you to eat this. The world wants you to eat that. They say you need to eat that. I'm not a fan of it.
I just judge it by the
Nothing.
way you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you've been eating better. I'm assuming you feel better.
Yes.
I feel better.
Mhm.
Right? My numbers show it feels better.
How do you feel good after fasting for 30 days?
I don't know about
7
that,
days.
because I haven't fasted for that. I don't know. So
well,
I
you got these
don't
people
know.
fasting for 7 or 30 days. How, and excuse my language, do you feel good
Can
with
I-
nothing in your body for 30 days?
Because people today, us today, we overeat.
Yes.
Really, your body only needs one meal a day. That's all your body needs. Just one meal a day. We overdo it. We have breakfast. We have lunch.
I've been hearing that
We
too.
have snacks
Yeah,
in
I've been hearing that.
between. We have dinner. All your body needs is one healthy meal
Not
a
my
day.
body.
I don't know too much about type 1, so that's why I don't really
Okay,
like, you know what I'm saying?
that is
But
exactly what
I think, hold on, I think all bodies are designed the same, just like
Gotcha.
plants.
Gotcha.
So, for example, you know, I do my thing with plants.
Mhm.
I've taken a plant near death, okay? This is how I understood Dr. Saban when he was talking about. I took a plant near death. It was all yellow and brown and wilted and dying, okay? Something's not right. It's not intaking the nutrients, body, not intaking the nutrients. What I gotta do? I gotta flush it. That means I gotta starve it. First of all, I'm gonna dump gallons and gallons of water in the soil and let it drain out. And then I'm gonna starve it. And after I starve it, I'm gonna give it exactly what it needs.
Yeah.
And that brown, yellow, crispy, wilted plant,
Came back to life.
green, bigger,
So
growing.
Are
Same
you
thing
really
with
gonna
our
compare
bodies.
my
Hell yeah,
thing to a
because
fucking plant?
it's your
No,
pH.
so-
It's your pH system that's off. So when they're talking about alkaline
Yeah.
and acidic,
Yeah.
they're talking about your pH. When your pH is off, that's when you start having all these issues. And yeah, you should go
So
check it out.
I get what Larry's saying.
I get what he's saying,
So
100%.
aside from us being,
100%.
if it wasn't for us being diabetic, Junior, we don't fit that model. But if you pay attention to like how long it takes food to pass the digestive system and get into the small intestine, then into the large intestines, and if you believe that that pattern is how we should eat,
How
to
long does it
Larry's
take?
point, it takes about a day. It
You-
takes
you
about a day,
Absolutely
day and a half.
100% positive about that.
There's science that it
So
goes
this is
through
exactly
all
what
that.
I'm talking about. Can you look in Google it and says food takes 24 hours to digest out of your body?
But is Google
No.
gonna help? Is
Yeah,
it gonna make you feel better?
This is exactly what I'm talking about. You guys get mad at me. I'm not convinced.
But-
What does it say?
all right.
Does it say your body can digest food in 24 hours? I'm not a believer of it. I haven't read it
The
yet.
food- I'm not talking about just digesting
You
in
just
your
said it.
stomach. I'm
You
saying
said it
go
takes
through
24
your-
hours.
to
Wait,
go through your whole
show
stomach,
me.
to
I'm
go
not,
through
I'm
your
not
body.
trying to debate with you. Show me where it says it takes 24 hours to digest
But
food.
I'm not talking about just digesting.
if he
it.
showed you,
Digesting
would
is
you
just the
believe?
starter.
Thank you. Say it again.
No, because it's man written.
So why are you asking?
Because I want to know where he got it from.
So what do you believe?
In me.
Cool. What do you believe?
Believe in me.
That's a cop out.
I believe when I go home, I can believe I can be able to eat whatever I want as long as me being a diabetic, I know how to take care of myself afterwards.
So what? No. Where do you consume knowledge about anything?
From what Larry said earlier about being passed down from parents and generations to generations.
So the only place you've ever learned anything was from your folks.
It's
That's
not
it.
learning it. It's what other people are telling us what to be learned from. We didn't experience it. I didn't go to that chicken place and say, hey, this is what they're doing. I didn't go to the cornfields and say this is the way they're doing it. I didn't go to the cows and say they're giving them steroids. I don't know. It's all from what people were saying to us. So we believe. It's like when we sing about the government, that what they want us to believe. I'm just not a believer of it. It's not saying I didn't learn it. I'm not a believer of it until I can figure it out. It's not.
So again, my question is like, where do you consume your knowledge from?
Knowledge about what?
Anything.
I don't have the knowledge to do it, and I want to know the knowledge, but the knowledge ain't giving it to me. Not from a video.
Yeah, but if you're not gonna accept it from a video, you're not gonna accept it from a document because man made it, man shot it, man said it.
Do you believe that there was Adam and Eve?
That's a
Sure,
debate.
somewhere.
From where?
What you mean from where?
Where'd you learn it from?
I learned it from the same
Bible.
book you learned it from.
Okay.
In that same book, it actually tells you what to eat. It tells you
Yes,
that
it
the
does.
herbs and all of that stuff is good for you.
Like I
It tells
said
you what
earlier, you
edibles
guys
are not good for you.
I agree with what Larry's saying, and I get what you're saying though, Junior, because there was a point. You feel fine eating that steak. Steak tastes good. I get that.
You guys really don't.
I do.
I
get what you're saying.
I feel like
No,
it's-
what I'm
But my,
saying
my
is that-
oh, sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
No, well, all I'm saying is like there was a point in my life where my sugar was 300 every day. I felt
How'd you feel?
To me, I felt perfectly fine. And then anytime I experienced a sugar of 150, that
You
feeling,
felt even better.
no, I didn't recognize that feeling at that time.
I was telling you that earlier today.
Yeah, I didn't recognize that feeling. So I'm like, this don't feel right. I got my sugar back up to 300 again. Until I more so educated myself and really stopped letting my sugar be 300. Now my sugar is so well controlled that when it's 200 or 250 or 300, I'm like, this doesn't feel good anymore. Because I now learned, my body unlearned what I thought felt fine, and now I know 100 where I could be sitting here and be like, my sugar gotta be high. I feel weird. My sugar gotta be high. Or whatever. Before, when my sugar was high, I thought I felt fine. When my sugar was normal, I didn't recognize that feeling, so therefore I didn't like it. So I made myself high. It was kind of like setting myself up for failure. I'm not saying you're setting yourself up for failure. I'm saying is that you feel fine eating the steak, you feel fine eating the corn and the potatoes, but until you try to not eat that stuff, you feel fine. And everything. Now, when I eat red meat, when I used to eat it, I felt fine. Now that I feel really feel that I feel fine, when I do eat red meat, which I had some maybe last week, it hits me like bricks. It's sitting in me. I feel sluggish. I feel like I don't want to feel. It's not fine anymore. Where before I thought I was fine. I'm just tired. Why are you tired today? I'm just tired today. But now I'm full of energy and everything. It's not because I decided to drink an energy drink. That's just me every day and everything. And I truly believe it's because of the changes I made in my diet. But at one point I had to detox that red meat that was in me, just no different than I had to, let's say, detox how I felt with my blood sugars and everything. Where that's how I learned that I felt fine. You got used to your sugar being high.
Yeah.
That's why you thought you were fine. Like,
Yeah.
that's gonna pass. No lie. Before, in my early 20s and my late teens, I was convinced that my body will adjust to my sugar being 300. I'll be fine. I'm gonna be perfectly fine. But I wasn't perfectly fine. I probably did more damage to myself in those years and everything. So really now all I'm doing, I'm not reversing anything. I'm just preventing more damage.
Yeah.
And that's all really what I'm trying to do.
Larry, one thing you're doing for your health.
It's a little tricky for me, but I mean, like I said, I've been not eating red meat for like about 5 years. Pork for probably like 6. But I don't know. It's just I don't know. I just try to just eat better. Try to eat better. I know I need to drink more water and stuff like that. But then I come from a situation where like I just recently lost my brother.
Yes.
Another brother passed away about almost 11 years ago, and they were perfectly healthy, perfectly fine. So sometimes I catch myself thinking like June a little bit, where it's like, you know what? What am I bothering with all this stuff? You know what I mean? Because if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. Whether if you're eating hummus and crackers or you're eating steak burgers or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. But back to my body and the way it feels, just eat right. I don't eat the red meat. I do a lot of sea moss.
Sea moss. I just recently got exposed to sea moss.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
I
put
do
a
a lot
lot
of
of
sea
sea
moss.
moss because I've been wanting to get into that.
It's
Yeah.
real simple.
You got the jelly.
I make it myself.
Do you really?
Yeah, you just buy the sea moss and then you can make you can prepare it yourself.
Do you use Shilajit? Or however it's pronounced?
Excuse me?
Oh yeah, black stuff, right?
Shilajit?
Yeah, I saw something on that.
Yeah, I've been taking some
Black seed oil, black seed oil too.
The root.
Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce this stuff, but I'm using it.
Shawnee just started taking
I
it.
actually want to get some of that because that's supposed to help with baby. But that's supposed to help. That's supposed to help with like stress and all of that stuff too.
Yeah.
Ashwagandha root or something.
I'm not gonna lie. I take it in a pill form, a capsule.
No man, you gotta get the root and do it for real because you don't know what's in there.
That's true, very true. But the next day after I started taking it, I felt a little clearer. I felt a little sharper.
I'm sure because it has some of it in there, but then a lot of the pills and stuff they're mixing it with like is it gelatin or something? It's like just there's fillers in there. You know what I mean? So what you want to do is try to get the root.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can order it online. I
Well,
forgot some herbal something.
The one I'm taking is probably a pretty reputable brand.
Still, you want
And it tells you exactly how much of each one. What I do avoid is anything that says it has its own proprietary blends.
Yeah.
I don't take any because that you don't know exactly what you're getting.
You want to get the real thing. You want to get the root, and instead of all that stuff, what you do is you take the root, you boil it. You know that. I just don't trust it. I don't believe that. Somebody's looking out for me that much that they're gonna. You know what I mean? There's always something. These companies have to make money somehow. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna out of this whole bottle, you probably get this much sea moss. And then the rest is who knows what it is. You know what I mean?
No, I get your point because I have no clue how much 800 milligrams.
I've always been like that. I've always been like, instead of taking the man-made version, let's go find the real thing and do the real thing like that. So I am interested in finding the ashwagandha root. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah, you're saying
If I do, I'll let you know. You know what I mean? I will let you know.
Everybody, thank you for tuning in to the 9th episode of Fatherhood Experience. For the guys out here watching this, hopefully you took something away from it, because without health, we have nothing. Fatherhood does not exist without taking care of your body and health. See you again soon for episode number
10.
Take care, everybody.